The outbreak of coronavirus necessitated a ban on public gatherings as well as other measures to prevent the spread of the virus. Weddings and funerals could only be held with only 25 persons in attendance. We put the spotlight on Mr. and Mrs. Oti, who, for one reason or the other, couldn't wait for the ban to be lifted before they get married. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So, what was your hashtag? This year we've had a number of weddings, celebrity weddings. There is Kensi 2020, which was between Kennedy Osei and then Tracy.
Yeah.
Medica and Fela McCaffrey. What was your hashtag?
Well, we are not into hashtags, so we didn't have one. No, it was basically just Michael and Patricia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what if I propose one for you?
Please go ahead. If it's a good one, we'll take it. But if it's not, you have to do better.
If you are taking which are you? I have patented it, so
we'll see. We'll see about it.
Royalties. What about my Tricia? Yeah, the way the lady making face there. That's how
some way.
My Tricia.
Some way.
I'm not sure. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So try again.
Mitiate no.
Mitiate what?
How long have you been dating before the marriage?
Patricia, will you like to answer that?
Why are you throwing that question at me? Okay. It's been 10 years.
10 years?
Yes, I have known Michael for 10 years before marriage.
10 years, a decade.
Yes.
I see. So, why couldn't you wait for the ban to be lifted if, you've waited for 10 years?
So, imagine this. You had planned your wedding, and your wedding is on the 21st of March. Then, exactly a week to your wedding, the president comes to announce that, okay, no public gathering, and if you want to go ahead and do it with 25 people, what would you do? We couldn't postpone, not just because of that, but he's not here, so we needed to do it so he can go back. Fortunately and unfortunately, then there was another ban on travels, so he's here. He's stuck. Do you feel stuck?
Well, I feel a little stuck, but to throw some more light on the question you asked, everyone gets to that mental space when they feel like this is the right time to do something, and it felt like the perfect time to get married to Patricia. And as she said rightly, we had been planning this for at least the last 7 months, and all vendors had been paid. The venue had been paid for, but most importantly, there was no indication that this crisis was going to be over. So if we knew, for instance, that it was going to be over in 3 weeks, they would say that we would postpone for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But as it stands now, nobody knows how long this is going to go on for. So if you were in our position, what decision would you take?
I'm sure he would have got
So the 10 years that you were dating and you are outside, how were you going about your relationship? You were coming to Ghana?
Her love travels over the internet. It reaches me wherever I am. Yeah.
No, but he hasn't been out for 10 years. So it hasn't been like he's been away for 10 yees. So, yes.
How long were you away?
For the last 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
So, long distance relationship for 4 years.
Yes. But remember this. Her love reaches me wherever I am. It's internet compliant.
Yeah.
So regardless of where I am in the world, she sends her love to me via Skype, WhatsApp, Facebook, and it works.
He visits Ghana too.
Okay.
It's just the internet bit, the internet love thing. That's what we are selling.
So how are you sustaining it? What was the conversation you were having?
When you've known someone that long, you make memories together. And so she's been in my life for the last 10 years. And this has been the majority of my formative years as a young man.
All the chillings were
yes.
with me.
So every memory that I have, she is in it.
Okay.
So we can throw back to something that happened maybe 5 years ago, laugh about it, talk about it, and she knows she was there. She remembers it. She remembers somebody who was doing something interesting, somebody who was doing something funny, and we laugh about stuff like that. We talk about stuff like that. So
I see.
Yeah, we have a lot of shared memories, and I think that that's what has sustained our relationship all this while.
How did you plan your wedding? What was the plan like? What did you have in mind?
I'm sure all my friends know by now that I have always wanted to have a garden wedding. As for that one, if you ask anybody who knows me, the person will tell you Patricia wants to have a garden wedding. So I told Michael about it, and I think he was into the idea, and then he started dreaming of it. So now when he's thinking about his wedding, he's looking at a garden wedding because he knows that's what I like. So he also sort of fell in love with garden weddings. So the thing about the venue, we already had it in mind. We didn't know that, okay, we're going to do it here or there, but we know that we are going to look for a garden. That's how it started. So that's the first one. Then we started talking about it. We said we are getting married. So yes, we have to talk about food, the number of people. He had to make his own list. I do mine on the side. And bear this in mind, he wasn't here. So he was doing it. He was sent to me. And then we'll go through it. I feel like, oh, there are many. Can you go through it and cut down? You know, that kind of thing.
Mike, what was your reaction when you heard the band?
If I was on this level, the band took me down to that level.
Down, cry.
Down. It felt defeating. Because yes, the epidemic was happening around the world, and there were cases being reported in Ghana, but it didn't occur to me. I didn't know that public gatherings were going to be affected at the time that it was, right before my wedding. So it was a really big challenge. But as I told you earlier, when I focus on stuff and I want to get something done, I want to get it done. So although I felt low, I thought, okay, so this is the situation we have. How can we make the best out of the situation? And that was the mindset that moved us after the announcement.
If your level was 10 and it dropped to 1 or 2,
negative,
then
2.
I'm sure negative. And
2,
Patricia, the on then they call because I know the really you are indifferent. Is that the case?
It didn't get to that point. Somewhere last year, we were thinking about getting married, and we said that, okay, let's just go and sign. He was here, he was around, and he wanted to do it before he leaves. It was kind of a rush, so I was thinking we don't have to plan and then get people to come and cook. Let's just go and sign. Go to the court and go and sign. So I think we spoke about that if it gets worse, we can just go and sign, and that's all we need actually.
But that was, if I felt like I had been duped, because she had sold me on the idea of a garden wedding.
He wanted to throw a party and meet his friends, the people he hasn't seen in a while and all. So that was why it really affected him, but I wasn't very much affected. I just said that, Michael, we can just go and sign. If we can't do this, if there's going to be a problem, let's go to the Registrar General's department, sign, and then go and sit somewhere. But he wanted it, and I understood. I felt like after all the things that we had to do, the planning and everything, now we are just going to sign, like anticlimax sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's getting interesting here. Let's take a break. When we return, we have some more questions to ask, and then see how they are going about things now that they are married.
powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
It's going to be fun to see how he goes about approaching this game.
Welcome back from the break. We continue our conversation with Mr. and Mrs. Oti, who had their wedding not long ago. Well, because of the plans that they had, they couldn't wait till the ban was over. And in fact, they didn't know when the ban would be lifted, so they had to, go on with the wedding. But less than 25 people at the wedding. I'm sure one thing that would be a bit of a problem was the people to attend.
Yeah.
How did you select who makes it to the wedding?
Well, that's probably one of the toughest decisions I've had to make so far, because I come from a big family. I have 7 siblings, and I have about 16 nieces and nephews. So already,
it's more than 25.
That is more than 25. So we had to be very strict and very firm on who would make up the 25. Mind you, this was 25 people split between the 2 families. So I was going to get maybe 10 for her, and then 5 officiating ministers or ministers, people who were going to participate in the event. So it was really tough, but fortunately, my family was very supportive. They understood that these were not ordinary times, and so those who got invited understood, and those who were not invited, they didn't take it to heart. I don't know if probably at the moment they harbored some pain, but it wasn't my fault. Blame Corona, don't blame us.
Michael, so I mean, Patricia, did you get any reactions from the people?
They're still coming in. I still meet people, or people get to see their pictures maybe somewhere. Then they'll be like, hey, when did you get married? So you got married, you didn't invite me. All I say is, Corona. It was a Corona wedding. It was a Corona wedding. So it helped us.
So how was the atmosphere? I mean, you had this garden wedding in mind, and then here is the case: you are limited to a certain number of people in attendance. How was the atmosphere? Were people, not socializing the way you thought they would?
For me, once it got to the point where we knew we could only invite 25 people, my only singular focus was to make sure that I made this woman happy. So I didn't care about anybody else, what anybody else felt, whether they were going to socialize or not. I wasn't really concerned about that. It was really about what was going to make this woman happy. So that was my total focus for the entire period.
Okay. What did you do, or what was done to maintain a certain level of excitement, considering the fact that there are not so many people there?
It was exciting.
Okay, so
25 people. It was exciting.
Me, I decided to have fun anyways. If you see my pictures and videos, you would know I danced.
Was there a military, or was there a police presence? What happened?
So,
are we able to say this on TV?
What, they came chasing after you?
Oh no.
What happened?
No, but there were things we had to do prior to the event. So we had to inform the district assembly, which heads the district security council, the DISEC, that we're going to have this event on this day, and this is our guest list. It is lower than 25 people, to make sure that we were not infringing or we're not breaking the law. So we had the district chief executive come on the day to make sure that we were practicing social distancing, We had outlets where people could wash their hands.
Yeah.
We had hand sanitizers on the site, and most importantly, we weren't more than 25. So we made sure that we were sticking to the rules for our own safety and also for the safety of our guests.
The people who could not make it to the wedding, for no fault of yours, obviously, are there any plans to...
I think I know where you're going.
You won't let me land safe. You have an answer to the question?
Where you're going.
Okay.
I am shooting that down.
Okay.
So for Michael, he thinks we should find a way and organize something later on, so we have our friends around, so that he will get what he imagined. Yeah, but I'm like, is that what you're going to do with our money?
Our money?
Throwing parties. But now we have agreed that maybe 5 years, 5th anniversary.
Yeah.
5
said,
years.
okay, yes.
You renew the
So,
vows?
Not necessarily, but have friends around and throw the party he wants to throw.
Yeah.
I see. But I mean, in taking that decision, why did you soften your hands? Because indeed, you wanted a certain kind of wedding, but Madame says, "Unya, enye and I was using you, Mati."
Well, it wasn't just Madame saying. It's important what Madame says, but beyond that, it was also what the times dictated. We wanted to throw a certain kind of party after the wedding, but due to coronavirus, it wasn't just possible. So it only made sense.
In fact, my birthday was a few days after the wedding. So he was thinking that all your friends who couldn't make it, when we put them together, we should have like the 25 and have some small party. And I said, please. No, it's okay. People will get over it. You were not there. It's fine.
I see. With the experience that you've had, would you advise people to do same? If they are not in his position of, wanting to travel, like you want to have a wedding, but because of what has happened, would you say that people should adopt this thing? Because we are hearing there are some things that we are going to accept. It's going to be the new norm. Should we be doing small weddings?
Well, I would say that everyone should assess their own situations and take decisions for their own good. What we did was tailored to us, but it shouldn't be what you do. So you should look at your situation and ask yourself, what can you do given the circumstance we find ourselves in? And then you do that. You shouldn't probably say that because we did it, you're probably also going to do that. It may not work in your case, but it could work in ours. So assess every situation independently and take decisions that will help you as a couple.
But I actually think that people should be embracing it. Okay, so for me, if this had come earlier, then I know that I'm going to have 25 people at my wedding. I would have done that, and I would have done it well, properly. I think it's okay. So there are people who want to have big weddings. Yeah, that's their dreams.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about saving and all, that's the time to actually get married. Have 25 people, small food. You don't have to pay thousands for small food for people to eat, drinks and all. It's expensive. So if you can leverage, I would advise that you take advantage of this one and actually do it now with 25 people.
But saying this, you must also say that the couple should be on the same page.
Oh yes.
One partner shouldn't push this down the throat of the other because they think that this is the time to save. Then that would be the basis for conflict.
Right, so we'll take our final break. When we return, we delve into the marriage proper.
powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
It's going to be fun to see how he goes about approaching this game.
It's the final lap, and we want to delve into the marriage and see how it's going for them after having a not more than 25 people wedding. How has marriage been, Mike?
I think that when it comes down to it, it's really about the two of you, the two of us. You said earlier that we had 25 people at our wedding, but being married for the last 1 month, we don't really remember it was 25 people. It's the fact that we are happy with each other. That's what's really the essence, and that's what I'm happy about. So I've been really, really content with the decisions that we made and the fact that she's happy.
Mrs.
He's done.
Yeah. How do you describe this 1 month journey?
So, for me, I wasn't expecting us to be together for a month after our wedding. I was expecting that a week after he would be away. So, thanks to Corona, I have had him around for a month, and it's been good. It's been really good. I have heard people say marriage is fun, it's beautiful. I usually would say what's beautiful about it. I just staying home with somebody will come and give you a holla. But Michael, now I understand. I will laugh. It's been good.
So what would you say has been the toughest decision you've had to take within this 1 month?
For me,
as far as the marriage is concerned.
where to live,
and having to cancel our honeymoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
you cancelled it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because at the time the restrictions had gotten tougher, and
There
the
was
case
lockdown.
the case count had increased. So we reckoned that it wouldn't make a lot of sense for us to travel to our dream destination, and so we had to make a decision. We had to go over it several days, but eventually we decided to cancel our honeymoon.
Where did you intend to go?
Whole of Ghana. We're going to tour Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah. From south all the way to the Mole National Park, see some elephants, come down to Adan, do water sport, and then come back to Accra.
So the where to live is a problem.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So like I have already mentioned to you, he was supposed to have been away a week after. So we were going to go on the honeymoon for that week, move from one place to the other, and then come back, and he's gone. But now he's here.
And I'm homeless.
Oh, I see.
So am I going to live with him? Am I going to be with my parents as we discussed earlier? Or what's the plan? What are we going to do? Because his place is a bit far.
Okay.
It's here in Accra, but it's a bit far for me.
From where you are. But
yes. So coming to work, because I will resume work. In fact, I have resumed work. So coming to work and you know, if you haven't planned on doing something and it hits you, so it was a bit difficult. So when I resume, what do I have to do? Do I have to go back to my parents and come to work from there, or I stay? What's the plan? But in fact, Corona has been good.
But
because of Corona, I'm living with him.
Oh, when this ban is lifted, a ban on travels, you'll be going together.
No, not together. He will
Because
take them.
there's still a lot of paperwork that needs to be done. before she can join me. And that's part of the reason why where to live was a problem, because I don't live in the country. So right after the wedding, I was going to leave. So my extended stay meant that I had to find a place to live on a more permanent basis. And because that wasn't in the original plan, it was something that we had to figure out.
So apart from these, any other plans the coronavirus has thwarted?
So when he came back, we got married. He came like a Saturday, so 1 week, then we got married. Same, it was just 1 week, right?
Yeah.
And we got married. I was, is it paranoid? In fact, on my wedding day, when I was asked to kiss, I was asked to kiss him. I was like, hey, quarantine. Because I was thinking, let me give him like 14 days incubation period before, if I want to hug him or something, then I'll do that. So we get married, and then the next day, in fact, that same evening, you have to go and lie on the same bed. It hasn't been 14 days. Me, I was pushing.
So after the wedding, you do that thing, like how will you do
me, I
that?
said no.
No, we haven't done
You
it.
said you not do.
We are still
Don't do that
quarantined.
thing.
Quarantine, baby.
We are still
When
in
you came here,
quarantine.
you people have been. So after the wedding, nothing.
No.
Why?
We have been observing social distancing because of corona.
For 1 month.
Yes.
Yes, why?
Hey.
Is it because we are sitting this close? You think we are not? This one is just for the interview. Because should we sit apart for your interview? Would the camera get a
When
good
we are
shot?
home, we
No,
observe
I'm-
social distancing.
No, it's I don't know, but
It's strange.
yes, that.
Oh, these are not ordinary times.
We understand.
Yeah.
And I'm a bumache.
These are strange times.
We ignore that one. We didn't hear.
Maybe the 10
No.
years and I do things so you tired.
No.
No, be so.
You know me so.
Okay. So what time will you feel that okay now? I think it's time to do the do.
Time to do what? What?
Time to get affectionate.
I'm not sure.
One
I
to one, what
understand
in I know that.
You don't understand.
that. No.
Oh, Patricia.
Don't mind both of us. Yes, it was just for a while, for some period. And then he's been around for over a month. He's fine. He's okay.
Yeah.
So I feel okay around him now.
Okay.
Only that when he goes to town and he comes back, then
You're a bit scared.
yes.
And we are trying to, as much as possible, avoid crowded places. Fortunately, I'm able to work from home, so I don't have to go out as often.
Do you mind telling us what you do?
I'm a journalist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I do what you do. Yeah. And as I mentioned, I'm able to work from home, so that's been helpful.
Okay.
But generally, we are trying to stay safe as much as possible because the case count in Ghana is increasing, and you're not sure who probably is carrying the virus. So as much as possible, we are trying to stay safe. Yeah.
Okay.
And stay home.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us. Your final words on the show, Patricia.
What else do I have to say?
I think that what we want to say is that for everyone who's had to postpone their wedding because of the coronavirus, you have to look on the bright side. This will be over, and then you can get it over with. But in the meantime, people should continue to observe social distancing. They should stay at home, wear their face and nose mask, wash their hands regularly, because it's serious business. This corona situation is a serious business, and people are losing their lives. So let's all stay home and let's stay safe.
But the part about staying home, that is if you can. Because some of us, we still have to go to work. So if you don't have anything urgent to do in town, then please stay home.
He's a journalist. What do you do? Same. Central for our year. Hey. Move boost our questions, okay, so that's how we end today's interview. I don't know, but I feel like since both of you are journalists, maybe you should sign
Wrap
out for
up
us.
for you.
Yeah.
Michael, end
So
the show.
yes,
That will be it for
there
the
are
show.
three
Wrap up.
Yeah.
cameras.
So to all of you watching us from your homes, thank you for joining us.
My name is Patricia T.
And I am Michael Oti.
And our host,
Abrantipa. Stay home, stay safe, and have a lovely, lovely week.
please wear your face mask.